Hey everyone, welcome to another match of Temur Hooting Delver. Today we are playing 4-color Snow Midrange. Alright, so we have an opening hand. It's relatively good. We don't have any removal, but we have permission, which is great. And we have threat, which is great. Of course, we're coming against Inquisition of Kozilek now, so we're going to lose one of those 5 spells, technically 4. Um, so our opponent takes away Stumber Denial, which is interesting. I was almost certain they would take away Delver of Secrets, considering it was our only threat. Um, but that's fine. I'm guessing our opponent thinks removing our permission would allow him to resolve his removal later on, or any other non-creature spells he might be playing. Just gonna fetch for a basic. Alright, so our turn, Delver flips, that's great. We're going to start off by attacking. Odds are this is going to go through. Yep. Next turn, next main phase, we're going to fetch for a breeding pool. Yeah, that makes sense. No need to get red right now. We don't have any red spells. Oh, there you go. That helps. We'll get the land first and the bolt after. Just makes more sense there. We drew a mana leak, which is great. Dark Confidant is interesting. Our opponents have 14 life, and we have a flyer, and he's tapped out, which means we're going to hit him for another 3. Not sure what else he's currently playing, but this is in our favor so far. Alright, Euro. So he loses 3 more life there. So it looks like he's about to go for a cast. Question is he casting Euro? Is he casting something else? He's swinging in at... Oh yeah, I think he's going to swing in first. He sees that we have 2 mana up. He knows we're playing counter spells, so he wants to see what we have. We don't care. We'll let him shock us with his Dark Confidant. Liliana. Look at that. So we definitely do not want Liliana to resolve. We are definitely going to counter. And we're going to win that counter. That's critical. Given the fact that we have Bolt, that we have a threat on board flying in the air, if our opponent draws even a 1 mana spell next turn, he's dead. So, and we have Tarmogoyf as backup in case Delver gets removed. This is why Dark Confidant is always a double-edged sword here. So, we win. Our opponent's not going to have any answer to that, I don't think. No. Okay, so that was relatively easy. It would have been a completely different story if our opponent had gone for our threat early on, right? It would have been about 6 points, 6 life points up. They would not have died from that bolt. It would have been a completely different story. It's not like we would have been completely blown out given the cards that we drew after. But still, so what are we bringing in? Veil of Summer makes sense because it can help protect from removal spells. Our opponent's almost guaranteed using black removal spells, so Veil of Summer makes sense. We bring in Tarmogoyf because usually for mid-rangey decks, which I believe this deck is, I like to bring in Huntmaster. I think I said Tarmogoyf before, but no, Tarmogoyf always stays. I bring in Huntmaster, I move to Hooting Mandrills. Huntmaster's great. I don't think I get to cast him this game, which is unfortunate because I really want to show what Huntmaster can do on the screen, but one day it'll happen. Opening hand, he plays Hex Drinker, right? Yeah, Hex Drinker. We're definitely going to remove it because I have no interest in seeing that Hex Drinker level up. And we're going to help make our Tarmogoyf quite a bit bigger at the same time. Thoughtseize. Okay, so Tarmogoyf is going away. I could guess that very easily. Yeah, he's definitely going away. He's not going to let us cast Tarmogoyf next turn. There we go. That's okay. We still have Delver. And you don't see it yet, but we're getting pretty close to Delirium for Traverse, which means we can go get any creature we want. So we're still in a good position here. We have Veil of Summer, which means we can protect our Delver if need be. Dark Confidant, that's fine. Did wonders for us last game, so we'll let it happen again this game. Probably makes sense to go for a breeding pool here, just so we get access to our green. Yep. Will Delver flip? Yes, Delver will flip. Now, from this game, it seems like Delver always flips, and that's not true. I lost a game before where Delver didn't flip for 5 turns in a row, even though we had about 23, 24 instants and sorceries in the deck, so bad luck does strike, but in this game it did not. So we go for a Forest, and we play it. You know, at this point we can do nothing, but doing nothing seems like too little. It's too safe. We have Veil of Summer, which means we can at least protect from removal. Liliana at this point would suck, but again, not a complete, not the end of the world. Let's put it that way. Notice that I did use Traverse to go get a land. I think I just needed another land to maneuver a bit more easily. We'll let that resolve, obviously. Let's see what we're going to face here. I always read the wording on Veil of Summer just to make sure I didn't miss any ability on it. So we'll take the 2. And what are we going to see next? Snapcaster Mage, going for Thoughtseize. Okay. So a little interesting here because we have 2 cards that functionally do the same thing in this matchup because they're both going to go to the face, most likely. So whether you take Simic Charm or he takes Lightning Bolt, you know, that 3 extra damage is most likely going to the face, given the fact that we have Delver on the board. Simic Charm has more utility, so I just think it makes more sense here that they remove Simic Charm. It's the biggest threat of the 3 cards in my hand. So I'm just, yeah, Simic Charm's gone. It's a good disruption for my opponent. Sadly, I'm not sure it's going to be an... Okay, and then we top deck a Mana Leak, which, unbeknownst to our opponent, just further seals his fate. Let's see. So, game over. And I think our opponent, he knows what's in our hand. It's GG. So that was a quick game. That ended really quickly. Dark Confidant, I think, in total in both games, shaved off about 10 life from our opponent, which is significant. You know, 5 life each game, let's just say. That's a lot of life. You know, Tarmogoyf is usually a 4/5, and that's not even a full... That's more than a full swing from a 4/5 Tarmogoyf, right? So 5 life is pretty huge, even though our opponent is getting card advantage. It just wasn't enough. We had an efficient beater in the air. He didn't draw anything that he could resolve to deal with that beater. you know, I think this was a quick game. It could have gone either way for sure. Our opponent has access to 4 colors, which means, you know, they have access to plenty of removal and other forms of other angles of attack, you know, to attack our deck. But he didn't get it here. Um, I think this game illustrates how Blood Moon is definitely less significant nowadays. You know, this can very easily be a Jund deck that we're playing, and it doesn't necessarily have a greedy mana base because of Arkham's Astrolabe. Um, so you know that's something to keep in mind. Now, definitely still need Blood Moon against Tron decks and you know anything running Tron lands or greedy mana bases, but it's becoming less and less common. Just a note. I mean, I won't know for sure. It might take a couple of years, but Arkham's Astrolabe might be a ban-worthy target because it just becomes a card that. I mean, why would you not play it? Why? I mean, if your deck has basics, then they might as well be snow basics, and you might as well have a card drawing engine and a mana filtering engine in one. Um, so that was it. That was a quick game. Stick around for more. I got more with this deck, and I'm looking at trying to get good recordings of more games for you guys to enjoy. Thanks.